So we're here with Kesner Dufresne, running for councilman of the East Ward section of Trenton, New Jersey. Kesner Dufresne, would you please tell us about yourself?
Well, I was born in Orange, New Jersey, St. Mary's Hospital, and I grew up in Newark, Irvington. I went to school at Seton Hall University, where I studied economics. I also went to school at American College, where I studied financial planning. And my background is in financial planning. I have over 10 years experience working with individuals, helping them plan for their future, retirement, education of their children, investing, and I own my own firm. One of the things that I did growing up late in my high school years and then in college was wrestle. And so I'm also an athlete. I have been involved in many extracurricular activities. I'm a big brother of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Mercer County. I sit on various boards like the Trenton Kappa Foundation, the Trenton Fortitude Corporation, the Princeton Quarter Board, and I sit on the Delaware Valley Business Club, and I'm involved in the community. That's one of my passions. I enjoy sitting on boards and giving scholarship money to young people who aspire to go to college. I also enjoy giving grants to local organizations that are involved in the community, making a difference in young people's lives. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay. You told us a little bit about your background, and you mentioned that you were a financial advisor. Tell us about some of your other skills and qualifications and how you believe that they would prepare you for this role as councilman of the East Ward.
The role of a councilman really requires a various amount of skill set. It definitely requires someone who cares about the people in the city. And when I say that, I mean you want to create laws, rules that better the quality of life for your residents, improve their everyday life experience, and also maintain their everyday life experience by making sure that certain services, constituent services such as trash and the streets are being cleaned, and these are things that help every person that lives in Trenton have a pleasant experience in Trenton. So the other element, you need to be able to make policy. I do sit on the Trenton Housing Authority. I've been on that board, on that commission for a few years, and I set policy on that board. I deal with the housing of low to moderate income individuals, and I'm very familiar with some of the housing needs in the city of Trenton. I also believe that in reviewing matters of the budget, you have to have a familiarity with budgets and understand how to plan over multiple time periods. And my background as a financial planner equips me thoroughly for that role. And some of the things that I want to do definitely leverages my expertise in financial matters. The other element, you have to be able to build consensus. You have to be able to work with other members so that you can work together to bring forth legislation or rules or laws or ordinances that will better the lives of your residents. Those are things that I think are really important, and in this time I think it's very important that you're able to be innovative, look at things from a different perspective, and also bring to the table a great deal of energy to tackle on these issues. And some of these issues are very controversial, and they require someone that's willing to stay on top of it and have the tenacity and the persistence and the energy to go the long haul.
Okay. So if elected as councilman of the East Ward in Trenton, what would you do?
Well, my perspective is different than most of my councilmen, and very distinct from my political opponents. For one, I have a corporate experience, which I think is invaluable, especially as we look to partner with corporations in bringing in dollars and investments into the city, to be able to talk the language and be able to be a valuable asset in negotiations when we're talking about plans and development. That's something that is very natural to me. It's what I've been doing for most of my professional life. With my financial background, I definitely want to make sure that we put controls and mechanisms in place, especially on the budget, so that we're doing the right thing, not just for this administration, but for administrations to come. I believe that just like you would tell your child to put money away for a rainy day, I believe that we should do the same as a city. It's definitely a rainy day in these times. It's very hard times, and we don't have any money put away. Money that would otherwise be used to help our residents, help sustain some of our after-school programs. So one of the things I'd like to work with my fellow councilmen and the mayor is to create a systematic savings plan, an ordinance that mandates that we put 1 to 3% of any revenues that come into the city's coffers, put it away so that we are building a reserve that we can use frugally and responsibly to take care of our city, especially in times like these. I also believe that we should not hide anything from our residents. It's the taxpayers' money. It's the residents' revenues that pay our salaries. It pays for the city's services. And I believe that on a quarterly basis, the same frequency in which they pay their taxes, we should disclose what we're doing with the money. And that's just simply showing the balance sheet. And it's a very common thing to do. You go into a store, you give them cash or your card, and you get a receipt, get a bill of goods. And I think it's fair. It builds trust, builds confidence, and it builds transparency, and allows us to be held accountable to what we're doing with residents' tax dollars. The other element that I would work to do is really enhance the housing stock. We're the biggest landlord in Trenton, and I believe that we can immediately impact the values of our residents' homes by creating a task force that would comprise of all of the residents who have skills, plumbing, electrician, carpentry, and we would charge them with the role of turning our abandoned homes into livable houses. They don't have to be McMansions. They just have to be livable, clean and decent. We do that, we can increase the property values on the neighbors' homes by 10 to 20%. That's substantial. What we essentially do is we create a bottom, and we make our neighborhoods look more respectable. And we partner, essentially, with our neighbors in keeping the neighborhood clean and keeping up our housing stock. We're the largest landlord, and we should be setting the standard for how we want our houses to look, how our neighborhoods should look. The other thing I would want to do is make sure that our businesses have a voice, that we organize them and we listen to our businesses so we can hear their concerns and address them before they leave. We can't afford to have any more businesses leave Trenton, especially Chambersburg, and listening to them and taking care of our businesses is taking care of business in Trenton. That's good business, and that's what I would want to work on when I get into council. I think it's important that we take care of our businesses, it's important that we take care of our neighborhoods, and it's important that we take care of our finances. The other element is making sure we have more community centers, decent places, safe places for our young people to engage and to come into their own, where we can have some of the programs, recreational activities in some community centers. We have properties like the William Cook School that's not being used. It's been sitting there unused for about 10 or so years. That's an area that we can focus on and bring better services to our young people. We owe them. I also want to strengthen vocational programs by working with the Board of Ed so that our kids, when they graduate from high school, they have skills that they can put to work immediately. Those are some of the things I want to work on. Those are some of the things that I believe in, and I believe it will invest back into Trenton and help us to grow from within.
Well, thank you, Mr. Dufresne, and good luck on the upcoming election on May 11th.
Thanks.